What is good, teams? This is the behind the back cable lateral raise. Now, the setup for this one is key. A lot of people, when they do any form of lateral raise on a cable stack, they tend to put the cable right at the bottom, which, don't get us wrong, you will involve the side delt, but when it's too low at the bottom, you find yourself, for the first part of the movement, having to pull that cable raise up, which, yes, you work the delt as you begin the movement, but you do get a lot of kind of trap involvement as well, because you're almost essentially having to shrug it, then raise. So when you come to set up the cable, ideally you want it around about somewhere between knee and hip height. So as soon as you get yourself into position, the direct tension is that way rather than predominantly that way. Then, as you can see, I've got the cable behind my back. You don't have to do this because your shoulder doesn't attach to your hand, but what I've found when I'm doing this, since we never really work with too much load, is I take my thumb off the handle and grip it like this. Because what you'll find is typically when people do a raise, is they'll have the thumb over it and they'll really squeeze, you can't really see, but they'll really squeeze it like so, and you'll find you get a lot of, not forearm pain, but a lot of tension in the forearm. And the goal of this movement with it being isolation is to really isolate that side delt. So I typically take my thumb off and almost not let go, but I just have it sitting in between my fingers here, and I find I get a much better contraction on the delt and a much better mind muscle connection. Then what you want to do is take a little side step out, so you're generating force on that delt, and I take the opposing hand. You can grab it here, but I find it fannies on and gets a little bit tied up and uncomfortable with the cable. So I actually use my hand, put it on the cable stack. Now I'm very, very stable. My hand's here, my feet are planted firmly on the floor. I've got my thumb over the cable here like so, and you want to go as far as your shoulder mobility allows you. If you can get a really good stretch like so, and you can take it right behind the body, great. If you can just start here, great. If you have to start here, great. I typically like to get a good stretch, because that's the most muscle building aspect of the movement. And then you just want to come up, extend, and while you're extending as well, I like to almost think about touching the wall. I don't just think about, right, elevating my arm, because then you might get a little bit of trap involvement. I think as I'm coming up, I'm almost trying to reach away from us and touch that wall. And at the same time, I know there's a lot to think about, these knuckles, I'm thinking about dragging them across the floor. So it's almost like dragging them across the floor, touching the wall. Straight away, even without weight, you'll feel your side delt a little bit. So as soon as you load up, put your hands stable, feet firmly on the floor, thumb over, in position, and you're trying to touch the corner of the room, squeeze the delt. Nice, slow, controlled on the way down, up, touching that wall on the other side of the room, touching that wall on the other side of the room. Nice deep stretch, as far as you can go. Nice deep stretch, as far as you can go, explode up. And you want to stop here, you don't want to go too high, you want to stop in line with your shoulders, otherwise you're just going to bring in more of your trap. And then when you're ready to finish the movement, simply bring it in nice and slowly, let the D hammer go down, and that is the behind the back single arm cable lateral raise.